Okay, thanks for staying with us. So today we're actually talking to women, talking to ourselves. And you see, there are different situations. I mean, when I got married in the early days, my husband wasn't working. So if I was in this situation, I knew there was no money coming from him. So no matter how much I push, there's nothing. So I had to solely take responsibility at the time. But for this woman to expect something from him, it's either he has a job, and he's not using that money for the family. Maybe he's using it for other things. And there are women in that situation where the man has a job. He's just not responsible. So if you're in that situation, how do we talk to a woman like that, where you know that it's not as if the man doesn't have now?
Well, you see, this story is a common Nigerian story.
Yes.
There are many Nigerian women holding the fort, taking care of the bills in the house. First of all, let's just categorically state it because it had to do with health. That's why I felt that she shouldn't have used the health of her child to make her point. There are many other things that a man would need in the house that if you have seen over time, and he has proven to you over time that I am just, I just don't care about you people. I don't care about the bills. I use my money elsewhere. He will not enjoy the largesse of the home. People will buy your clothes you wear. You make sure your children go to school. There's some kind of food he will not eat if he does not bring, the sort of money. So there are things where you can make sure that you put your money towards where he doesn't get any of it, or he'll just enjoy it because he lives in the house. For
example, there's a story. I'm just going to add to the story of a woman I know that I remember now that her husband could not afford a private school. She could afford a private school, but because she wanted to make a point, she allowed her child to go to the public school. Just to make that point, like, you know what? See, it's only your child will only attend the school that you can afford.
Like,
and the man was so with it.
That's the team.
Yeah.
That's the team. So who is winning in that team?
No, the thing is,
who wins in that team?
So you as a wife can afford a private school, a better school for your child, and you feel that you
are on the same team.
No. So
you are responsible for your children. What if you don't have a man in your life? What if there's no husband in the picture? Let women. I want women in this season to step up from thinking like our mothers did responsibilities behind the scene, and they felt sad about it for years. Many women were paying school fees, they were squeezing the money out, and they were bitter about it.
Yes.
But I think that you shouldn't be bitter about it. You were able to. God empowered you for a reason. If the man chooses to be responsible, you be responsible. If you are tired of an irresponsible man, walk away from that irresponsible man.
Some people start a trend in their homes that costs them. I'm presently having a talk with a young couple and asking the man, what do you put outside for your family every month? Do you just
assume have to if he doesn't have?
But this person is very well employed. He's earning very well, but doesn't have the habit of thinking that I think my wife is working too, so she will just deal with food and deal with rent. What do you put aside for your family every month from what you earn? Do you take it out and you earn a salary every month? So I keep asking. And I wonder how the talk that Urala usually says, don't take over his responsibility to show love, because you will empower him not to bother about those things, and you can't blame him for it in the future. So the issue of the school, if the man, you can continue leave the children in that school, continue for the rest of your life to worry him and say the standard of education in that school is not befitting of my children. No, you can worry him. No, you can worry him to drive home a point. Let me finish. It's not necessarily lagging. When you need to say something, you say it. You say it. You want to consider it. For some people, you have to fight it to get it. So you can have that conversation with him no matter what happens. That the standard of education for your child is not what he's giving them. You can then meet him halfway and say, if you cannot meet up halfway, bring what you have. Let's meet it together. Don't tell him I can afford it. I'll pay school fees. Then you have a problem in the future, and then you blame him that he cannot meet it. He will tell you he couldn't afford it from the beginning.
Somewhere about if a man shows you that he's just an irresponsible person, but if you're in a marriage with somebody, and in so many other ways, because marriage is not all about money. There are some people that do not have the money, and it shows. So what other things does he bring to the table that makes the marriage bearable? Yes, my husband does not have the money to do this, but you know what? This is my business. He will enter the market for me. He will make sure he prices down for me. In fact, I cannot do this business without my husband's input, or backing. That there has to be a way that that man shows his appreciation and that I want to do more, but I just can't. And I find that if you're in that sort of relationship, a woman will not find it hard to pay the bills because she understands it's a transition, and you may just very well end up in a marriage where you are the breadwinner and the man isn't. But when you are with an irresponsible man, then you have to make the choice whether you want to continue living with an irresponsible person or not.
Yeah, I've shared this story a million. For those of you that watch your view, I've shared this story a million times. But as a wife, there's a message I read from Pastor Ibukun Awoshika. And when I got that message from her, it was a light bulb effect for me. Because she said something that was so profound at that message. She said, it's not your husband's ability to pay the bills that makes him a husband or a man. His role as the man is God ordained, first of all. So when I got the light from that message, it showed me that he cannot provide, he cannot provide. That's not what defines him as the head of the family. The definition of the head of the family is ordained by God. So that headship is there, whether you like it or not. Whether he brings
so are you saying it's like a spiritual headship?
Yes, either brings 1 naira or doesn't do any money at all. If you as a woman have that understanding that even though he doesn't have at this time, I can still play that role at this time. Doesn't mean that he won't have the future. Well, when he now finally has, I think sometimes Nima, some men might not have it too.
Forever.
There are some men that will not have it
always
too.
financially stronger.
There are some men that will not have it too. Let us face the facts. There are some men that for life.
You must give value. Because we don't just argue.
So you're not bringing in the money, but you're bringing in value.
You must bring in value.
Exactly.
You must bring, and Nima's case, some people genuinely are doing what they seem to be doing that seems like a wicked thing out of ignorance. They don't have financial intelligence. Some people never understood how to budget or how to save or how to invest. It's not wickedness. If they have it, everybody enjoy.
Yes.
Finish.
Hey, find it.
Such people, sometimes what your spouse might need is a course of financial intelligence, is to take them through the learning on how to budget, how to plan. The challenge is not all men are willing to expose themselves to acquiring that kind of knowledge. But we must get to that point.
But I like the part
must acquire knowledge.
No, I wanted to quickly accept, you know the general you just put down now, on him being ordained.
Yes.
You know, okay, well, let me quote the Quran.
Yes.
When the man was ordained in the Quran, it includes your role as provider and defender of your family. So those men, some people just like to comfortably just hide.
Provider. You can be a provider in different ways. There are different ways of providing.
Providing. My father, God bless him, when he was still in the fire service, I remember my father would come home from Onikonde in the lagoon. He would have caught catfish and would bring it up. Is it money?
Some men today will not do that.
But you know, some people don't even know. No, some people naturally don't push themselves.
Yes.
When the wife push them, I sit in my office and men will come. She nags me. She wants. How did I even? I said, did she even have money? Did she remember I buy that money? Please. Life is a continuous struggle to be better.
So, Mariah,
you can't blame us for wanting more, and you're not willing to even push yourself and believe in the past.
Let me let you respond very
quickly. You see
quickly.
that headship there you're talking about, the spiritual headship.
Yes.
We get that.
Yes.
But it has become an excuse for some people. I'm the head of the home.
Yes.
After all, I'm there, and then you do nothing. Remember, we're also talking, just based on what we've read, let's just say we're talking about an irresponsible person.
Yes.
So that's a whole different
Okay, we'll build on that.
thing
Let's
from the
we'll
other.
come back to continue with that. Stay with us, Brett. During the break, there was an argument in the studio, and one of our producers was saying that there's a situation whereby the wife wanted to renovate the house, the curtain, with beautiful curtains. The husband earns only 45,000 naira. The woman wants to renovate and make curtains. Says, "Uncle, how much do you have?" The man says, "I don't have a lot of money, but whatever I have, I'll give." Anyway, the next day, she went to the market and went shopping and did the house very beautifully. The man now got angry that it is pride for you to go to the market without consulting me.
I'm buying something above my means.
They'll buy something above my means, or even letting me be involved in what you're buying. So that's part of the ego. That's the male ego. That's the male ego there. Was playing out right there. So if you're a woman, you have the wherewithal to take care of your family, your children, your home, and all that. But would you now bring your standard down to adjust to Orgazo because he doesn't have that kind of money, or do you just spend the money as you earn it, as you deem fit based on the level that you are at? That's the conversation I want us to stick to.
Alright,
Do you come down?
Alright, you see this ego pride thing. I don't understand when you're supposed to be one. Are we marrying our friends or are we marrying our enemies? Why would that be something that we're angry about when it's something that uplifts everybody? We had a conversation. This is what I'd like to do. Oh, this is what I have. Why are you going to look at it only from the point that she was just trying to make me look bad? How about she realized I didn't have so much, but she can afford it and she has helped us.
Look good.
And okay, because of that, you know that bag of rice that I always ask for, I'll just make sure we have 2 more because at least my budget can cover that. Why does it have, are we marrying our enemies or are we marrying our friends? I don't get it. So people, I mean, you know, when we were talking, I was saying that for me, I just feel that there's no advising people like that. I don't even understand where the mindset comes from. I don't get it.
Mentality is work from the beginning.
Yeah, so you just, you know, the problem with the example of private school and public school. My wife has enough to be able to take the children to private school. We can put our resources together. Okay, I do not have the money for the private school, but I'll make sure that there's fuel in the car for every time that you take them to school.
The man feels, the ego part is that the man feels that once you do it, it diminishes my manhood.
So we live in a country that, this patriarchal society, where men find their manliness from ability to dominate, you know, ability to insist and like say, I am the one, I'm the breadwinner, I determine anything that happens in this house, down to the color of your underwear. It makes them feel manly. So when you emasculate a man, it is actually wrong.
What emasculates him?
So, and you're dealing with different human beings. See, the exposure you and I have, the exposure our husbands have, you know, the exposure that the average other man has. We are all growing up, men grow up from different society. Some men never had any male role model. Some men had bad male role models. So when you marry a man like that, you need to now understand what are the other characters and values he has. Because if you marry a man that is very egocentric, you will have to find a way to, because you know you love him and he's good in some other areas, but he's bad in this one. You find a way to help him by exposing him to the right knowledge and the right circle. Sometimes you need to introduce your husband to your mentors and to good men. Because if they don't see how good men operate, they will not know that what they are doing is wrong.
Okay, so what
in conclusion for that one, I also think it is very important for women to communicate. Communication is important. You don't go ahead to buy furniture or transform the house and say you want to surprise your husband, or you and your husband discuss it and you know you cannot afford it and then you want to do it. I think that especially when you are married to a man that has ego issues, the man would have been displaying it. You know this man has ego issues. You will communicate and carry him
even
along.
If it's 5,000 naira he drops.
Collect it. Yes, carry him
along.
along.
Carry him. No. Listen,
if you cannot take it, you go. Let's see, Mariah.
This is it. There are some kind of men. You see, as you said, rightly said, you can't compare the kind of men we have to men. There's some men that they never just have issues are there. So
somebody you just mentioned, he said you don't
contribute.
Somebody just talked about you keeping in and bottling and taking on responsibilities or taking things that you cannot take in your marriage. So now let's assume the case in question, she's earning higher, she's a matron, and her husband is lower. And you know, probably because of the kind of work she earns, she can afford a particular standard of living. But she's forced to live in her husband's standard of living because he wants it.
Yes.
That means he is selfish. Listen. Let me land my point. Let me land. Okay, let's assume he doesn't know more. Okay, wait.
If he did not know more in year,
I'm not making any point. Let's assume he doesn't know more. You can afford it. You can take my wife's counsel to her is take whatever is giving you for that project. Add your own. Give yourself the standard of life that you want. But if you cannot afford to bring the money, still give yourself the standard of life that you want. If you can afford it, why punish yourself? Notice it. She's in a class of people that she needs to make that impression for them. Wait. She works in a place where if they come to her house, they will not only look down at her husband too. So if she can afford to give the children, you're not just living for people. No, you can afford it for yourself. You know, to do good about yourself.
There's this story that people say.
Why will you suffer because
you get married and you are living in VI, your husband is living in Alagbadu.
You now live.
Your husband now says, my house is in Alagbadu.
I told you of the wedding now, in my very presence.
So the marriage just know that you cannot compromise.
We asked Larry Olushola on this topic.
If you cannot compromise to make the marriage work. So if there are two things.
Say two people compromising.
Yes, two people compromising. But the man is the head of the house. So your job is to now convince your husband to see the value of upgrading his life from Alagbadu to maybe middle ground.
Wait. Let me share this example.
It's to convince him, not to insist.
Nima and Tope and Mariam. So you are the wife, and you want to do this beautiful renovation in your house. And the man is saying, sorry, we can't afford it. I can't afford it. Say, don't worry, you don't have to spend money. The man is insisting. You now go to him and say, okay, please, I know you don't have them. Whatever you have. And she said, we're not going to do it. We can't afford it. He insists that you must not do it. As a wife, should you go ahead and do it? No, you wouldn't.
Thank you.
Your husband has said no. That's it.
Even if
you want to increase your standard, you are a better kid. He has said no.
Then usually,
when they say no, it's usually listen. You don't need the marriage because men like that, they say no not because they don't want to do it, but they want to prove a point. Accept the no first. With wisdom.
Thank you.
After a while, he will call his that thing you wanted to do. Many times they call you back later. It can be months later.
He will even put it completely.
Yes, he could.
So
Or you
that's what I'm saying, but you don't disobey.
at that moment, you should not disobey. At that moment,
Ah,
accept.
May you people not be in that situation.
No,
I know a person, wait now, I
everybody's managing their
know life, somebody who waited 10 years and things didn't improve. Now, you secretly continue to live that lifestyle.
You're not waiting.
No.
Yeah. You don't
Until
just wait.
wait. Now, let me land.
Let me tell you how
Don't
men-
just
let me
wait.
tell
You
you how
live that
men
life. You live two lives.
I want to hear
You live
Mariam.
two lives because you want to remain married. So you can afford a life. Yes, now you are living that life along with your in the outside, and when you come home, you come down to your guy level. Oh God, let's
You
just
are
continue to
married.
move
You are
ourselves.
married.
Okay.
the one.
Let's do this. Let's do it the other way around. So people are saying that we should not step up. Is what we were saying because we have married a person with a particular mindset, and he has not shown any growth. You too, please do not step
Don't
up.
grow.
Just stay there because men handle this differently. I remember at the time when military was in power, and a man, a military officer, he's in the barracks. One day, coup happens. He becomes governor. He will say he will now marry the first lady that will enter
That will
that
meet his
office. That
class.
will meet the new office.
Thanks.
Because, madam, all the time we're embarrassed. When I say go to
Remember
school,
they used to
you have
marry, all of
refused. You have refused to go to school. You have refused to improve yourself. Now see where we are today. Until I can't carry you, I've taken someone. They don't waste
move.
time.
They move.
Why is it that women are afraid to
I
grow,
don't
to
understand.
push their men to grow? Sometimes
get
though,
it.
the men give you what you allow them to give you.
Yes.
If he understands that, see, this is where we're headed. We're not saying don't have a conversation. We're not saying be rude to the person or show pride. We're saying have this conversation, take it one step at a time. But you must show growth now. If a woman is learning to be more patient, you too, you should show that you are moving on. I don't understand that.
I agree with you, but there's a way to read
Yes,
this too.
and we don't want blatant disobedience. I want to be strategic. So if you sit down and you wait for 10 years and there's no change, then you also are not being strategic. Like I said, while you're waiting for him to change, you deliberately push him to information that would expand his mind. Some people in their head, they don't understand what is MDF and HDF or screening the wall, or why you should paint or buy these verses that are expensive. They don't see it until you expose them to that life.
So improve yourself,
improve
to
them, improve yourself. Start exposing him. Don't force it. Don't push it. He will grow because he's a product of the mindset of many years of that life.
We'll high five from afar.
Don't fight it.
Yes.
And many times it's not a past tussle.
Yes.
We can't have two captains in a ship.
Correct.
So we must find our subtle way of achieving our goals. We would upgrade the family. We will live a better life, which is what we all want.
Yes.
Our children will go to good schools. But if we fight and we lose the marriage, except you've seen that this man is a totally wrong person, that is, he cannot work, then you move away. But if there are good things
we have to run
inside,
Don't be
have to run. Unfortunately,
Finally, be careful who you marry.
before you marry, this 2021, all of you that want to marry,
we have to
open
go
your
on
eyes.
a break. We have wrapped up on this. When we come back, we'd like to hear. We didn't read any tweets. So.
Plenty.
Everybody, fight. When we
will
come back.
fight, when we come
Stay
back.
with us. We'll be right back.
For me, I think the lady should help with the child's health if she could. Your child is your child, whether your husband is capable of providing or not. Lady Silva Onowu says, my dear ladies, there's no reason to defend this woman because she should have used other means to get back at her husband and not when life is involved, especially that of her child. Omona, 9 months so with hard labor. Supreme Daddy says, the main problem of marriages is patriarchy. In an egalitarian society, caring for the family will be for both parties. Ways to avoid problems of finance. Have candid talks when courting. Have anyone?
Okay, Florence Eggy says, the woman is not stupid and wicked man. She is not human. Opoluwa Martins Disabi says, a man that can't provide for his family is worse than an infidel. Being the head of the home is not only spiritually, but physically and financially. Owe Uyo just reacted that this is rubbish.
Coach Mudas.
Asoka Jr. says, no matter what I think it's not healthy to put anyone's health as a way of teaching your spouse a lesson. Even if your man doesn't have, and you do, there are ways you can sponsor the bill and get it back from him. Women naturally has the bottom power. Okay.
Samsonite Balogu says, Happy New Year, lovely ladies. I'm so pained this morning. I would totally blame the woman. What happened to Abiyamo? Why can't she pay the money and pretend to disturb the so-called useless husband? Why gamble with the life of your daughter, Haba? And
Ali Joanna says, some men don't have money, but they fill the gap by making sure the children are at the top of the classes. Also, they guide and support their wives' businesses or job and ensure that her success, that she's successful, which is priceless.
So let me just quickly from Facebook. Florence says, society has turned women into morons in the name of marriage. I beg, being married is not one of the criteria for heaven. I refuse to be stagnated by a man who has horrible ego. In such case, move. Why live in poverty when you can afford to change for better? Nima is making sense. Many Nigerian women are so selfish, they don't mind pretending to be poor instead of spending their money on their own family. That's a different one.
Okunade Adedamola says, leadership not about ego, it's about putting the welfare of your family first, even before yours. A lot of men, to them, it's about ego. And I think
so. I think we can wrap up on that. So I think we also said earlier that it's about a team. All of you are together in the house, regardless of who's bringing in the money. Once you see that she's doing it, and because there's a perception that what she's doing, she wants to show that she's she's the man of the house. But if you have the perception, I know she's doing it because she loves the family
and she wants to support the team,
and you support the entire thing. So if we see that as value, then we shouldn't be having any issues.